You're going to have to learn to market yourself. You're going to have to learn to brand yourself. You're going to have to learn how to stick out. You're going to have to learn how to have more energy. You're going to have to learn how to invest in yourself. You're going to have to learn all of these things if you want what you say you want. And you know what I saw? I don't want to get second. I don't want to get third. I don't even want to get first. I want to get first by like 10 miles. You're going to have to believe in you. You're going to have to say, bro, I'm worth it. I can do this. I can give more to this business and I can become more. Today, you're going to have to decide to think bigger. You're gonna have to decide to go harder, to have hope that you're in the right vehicle, that you're in the right place, that you have the right people, that you have the right information. If you're in our school community, you're surrounded by hundreds of the right people. I gotta speak different. I gotta talk different. I gotta walk different. I gotta handle objections different. I gotta have a different mentality than people. I can't be the same as all you people. You're gonna have to think bigger. You're gonna have to think more creative. You're gonna have to think off the cuff. You're gonna have to think a little wild. I wanted to be the guy. All right, guys, good afternoon. Let's kick some butt, man. This is the Sales Survival Zoom. And my goal on this Zoom, man, is a couple things, man. I know one thing. If you lock into this Zoom, some of the things that I have are gonna help you transform your game. And I'll tell you, man, I'm obsessed with keeping the edge because this all goes back to me to 2008. Was anybody around in 2008? I know some of y'all were just being born, okay? Some of y'all were just little twinkles in your mama's eyelids, Tyson. Some of y'all weren't even around, little CJ. You guys were just in the nutsack still or something, you know what I'm saying? But if you remember, guys, times were a little turbulent. And right now, you know, we've got industries that right now are not doing so well. We got industries right now that are getting their asses kicked, and we got people that are not happy with their performance of their team or of themselves, and I think a lot of people are getting confused. So I put this Zoom together for one thing. I remember getting in the business at this time, and I remember that my manager told me a very distinctive thing that shaped my career that I want to share with you guys. And if you actually watch this Zoom and you're not here for just like entertainment and doing other shit and talking to your wife and talking to, like, half of y'all are just distracted as it gets anyways. You can't do shit for 30 minutes. You might as well just get off the Zoom. I'll be honest with you. I'm doing this Zoom in the middle of the day because I'm looking for the people that are going to dominate in 2025, 2026. And what you do now is going to be the life that you have in the future. I'm 100% sure of it. And in 2008, I had a manager that said, Ian, this is one of the most challenging times to be in this business. Do you know what you're going to learn because you're in a challenging time? He said, dude, you're going to have to learn to market yourself. You're going to have to learn to brand yourself. You're going to have to learn how to stick out. You're going to have to learn how to have more energy. You're going to have to learn how to invest in yourself. You're going to have to learn all of these things if you want what you say you want. And you know what I saw? I saw people say, oh, that's too much, man. Oh, no. We want what those last couple years, 2006, 2007, the markets were great. We don't want that. I looked at it and I said, I got no choice, man. I'm gonna be somebody. I don't know about you guys, but I've had this dragon inside of me that's always wanted to be somebody. I've always wanted to be recognized. I've always wanted to get my face out there, be different than everybody. I've always wanted to perform higher levels than people. And honestly, man, I've just always wanted to beat the crowd. I don't want to get second. I don't want to get third. I don't even want to get first. I want to get first by like 10 miles. I want to beat you, man. And I think right now you're going to have to take this mentality that I'm sharing with you into your business, and you're going to have to get competitive again. Okay? Some of you, you got your job right now and you're like, you're just playing kind of small, kind of casual. You know what I mean? Like, you got the job, you're doing 10 doors a day. You're going to have to do this thing called figure it out. And whatever you thought your job was gonna be, it's gonna be 10 times harder. Hey guys, it's the Macklin Twins, let's go! You can join our free training where you're gonna see thousands of 1%ers just like you in our community training on personal development, sales, mindset, and greatness. Yes. Join us, it's free. Click the link in the description, Elliott Training Academy. We'll see you on the inside. Let's go, baby! Click the link. You know, my manager at that time, he said, Ian, you can sit on point like everybody else, or you can go find ways to get in front of people. There's people in malls, there's people in gas stations, there's people all around. How bad do you want it? He said, Ian, there's one thing I can't coach you on, your want. Your want. He said, you keep saying you want to be somebody, but for the last few days, you've just been sitting around like everybody else. And that pissed me off, man. And he said, listen, I'm going to teach you what I'm going to teach you today. But he said, unless you really want it, unless you really go after it, unless you really decide to go all in. Some of you guys, you're not all in. You know how I know? Because if I looked at your calendar, I would see a lot of bullshit. I would see a lot of inaction. I would see a lot of sitting around. I would see a lot of second guessing yourself. I would see a lot of I wouldn't see a lot of uncomfortability. A lot of us post Instagram quotes of hey, get uncomfortable, but you're a car salesman that won't go knock doors in a neighborhood. And you're like, I've never heard of a car salesman knocking doors in a neighborhood. I know. I did because I wasn't going to sit on the point with people, and I walked around. I said, there's cars in the neighborhood. Why don't I walk up and talk to these people? Why don't I do things that most people aren't going to do so I could get paid like most people won't? So before we get started on any type of sales training, I'm going to give you some really good stuff today, but I need you guys, if you relate with our content at all, if you understand what's going on right now in any market, right now is not your chance, is not the chance to slow down. Right now is the chance to get ahead mentally. 3 years from now, you're going to look back and thank yourself for how hard you went. Or you're going to look back and be like, damn, man, I blew it. This is the craziest thing. He told me, he said, Ian, if you can work these 2 years harder than ever, you can turn all the distractions off, you can think bigger, more creative, invest in yourself, take notes, and just be totally all in. Totally all in. He's like, you think you're all in? Like 5 times more than you think. And I said, I can do that. And I was about it. I just needed somebody to kind of give me permission to go psycho. I'm trying to give you guys permission to go psycho before we even start this sales training. Because he said, hey, you're going to look up in 2-3 years and everybody's going to, when the market flips and it's easy for you, people are going to think you're different. They're going to think that you got something special, and you do. You're going to have the ability. You're going to have a thing called grit. You're going to have a thing called determination. You're going to have a thing called passion inside of you. You're going to have a thing that you're so confident in your skill sets, you don't think anything can stop you. Guys, I don't think I can be beat. I'll be honest with you. You can put me on any sales floor and I'll kill you, dude. I'll bankrupt you, dude. Come against me. I'm ready. If you're not thinking that way as a competitive salesman of I can be the best. Number one, write this down. Believe in you. Believe in you. I can't believe in you for you. You're going to have to believe in you. You're going to have to say, bro, I'm worth it. I can do this. I can give more to this business and I can become more. I can do it, man. Someone's calling me to be great. I don't know who's calling you guys to be great. Who's calling you to be great? I think Jesus is calling me to be great. So I'm going to go out here and actually work. I'm going to actually go out here and take care of myself. Some of you guys, you need to take care of yourself better. You don't take good care of yourself, man. I can see it in your eyes. You work out 2 times a week. You smoke cigarettes. You drink half the time. You got some vices. Listen, man, this is not the time to play small. This is not the time to have things hold you back. This is a time to get mentally ahead of everybody you're getting ready to face. And if you pick up what I'm putting down, this is the edge that you're going to need to carry, okay? So I'm going to go into some sales training, but before we get this, the foundation of the house is your mindset. Guys, what are you doing to keep your mindset intact? You don't need to be on every coaching call I do, but if you're not in our community joining our coaching calls once a week, you're an idiot. I mean, you're an idiot. If you're not on my coaching calls once a week, having me fire you up, tell you my problems, what I'm beating, what I'm going to. Guys, listen, man, where's my phone at? Today, I'm 300 days sober. I decided that at every level of you, there's a new devil. And I'm going to these little networking parties. I decided, even at the level that I'm at, that there's no chance for me to unlock. There's no chance for me to take a break. I don't need a break. I prayed my whole life to have an opportunity. Some of you prayed your whole life to have the opportunity you have right now, but you're squandering it. Listen, in whatever business you're in, I don't care who you are. If you're a car salesman, one day you're going to be a car owner. You got to have belief. You got to have hope in the future. You got to be playing with the future version of yourself. Guys, I walked around on my cell phone and I had a picture of a Nissan store for 10 years and it said my grandfather's name on it. My grandfather was my idol. My grandfather was able to watch me do some amazing things, and I wanted to show this guy who believes in you guys. You got anybody? Okay, I had my grandfather that believed in me. I had my mom that believed in me. And I felt like they deserved to see how hard I could go. Does anybody relate with me? Is anybody tracking me? I thought they had that. And then I had some people that hated on me. And then I had some things that I wanted to prove to the world that I could do it, man. So listen, some of you guys are on sales floors right now that they've already decided that selling 10 is what you're going to sell. 15, whatever it is, whatever the number is. Guys, I walked into a store and it was the 3rd year of my sales career and it was a new store. They said the store record was 26. You can't do that. I sold 40 something cars that month. I'm not letting anybody dictate my future. I'm not letting anybody tell me what's possible. Nobody, not even myself. Today, you're going to have to decide to think bigger. You're gonna have to decide to go harder. You're gonna have to decide to operate a little bit differently, because if you don't, let me explain what happens. The market gets a little hard, you make excuses, you go from one industry to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other, and you wake up 40 years old. And by the way, if you're 40 years old and you're not happy right now, quit making the same damn choices. There was a guy that was sitting with me when we first started, and I hinted at it when we first started. I said, this guy said it was too much and he left. I was on a Zoom the other day with a company, and I was like teaching this company in Colorado, and I'm like, I know that guy. I know that guy. Oh my God, that's the guy that started with me. That's the guy that started with me on my first day. And he's back to the same position. Guys, it's a disease for some people to just start over every single time they get somewhere. Every single time they got to go back to the starting line. Every single time they got to quit. I want to urge you on this call to see this thing through. I want to urge you on this call to have hope that you're in the right vehicle, that you're in the right place, that you have the right people, that you have the right information. If you're in our school community, you're surrounded by hundreds of the right people. You're surrounded by all the right opportunities. You're surrounded by all the right information. So there, in our community, there should be nothing holding you back from being great other than you going out there and outworking everybody, outworking them. Training isn't something you just say, it's something you live. Some of you don't really live what I'm talking about. Sometimes I don't. And I get pissed at myself, and then I go back to living it. When I'm saying something to you guys, I don't ever want to get on a Zoom and say something to you and then feel like I'm not doing it. So let's go back to drinking for a second. I used to come on here and be like, hey man, you can't do this, you can't do this. And then I started feeling myself going to these big networking events. Everybody's patting you on the back, telling you good job and all this bullshit that I hate. I ain't done shit, man. If you think I've done a good job yet, you're kind of disrespecting me, in my opinion, because I haven't even tried. I mean, I've tried, but like, I'm not even close, okay, to the goal. And I noticed myself starting to drink more. I noticed myself starting to be like my dad, have my thoughts like my dad. My dad's an alcoholic, he's a drug addict, he's got all these issues. And I started being like, oh man, I'm using this as a crutch. So I got rid of it. During the holidays, I said, hey bro, listen, this is starting to become a problem in my identity. Get rid of it. Everybody, write something down you need to get rid of. Before we get into sales training, this is called the survival guide. In order to survive, you got to get rid of some shit in your mindset so that you can actually make room for growth, that you can actually make room to go to the next level, that you can actually make room to recreate. So I want everybody to identify something that they can change, that they can get rid of. Me, I just didn't want to drink anymore, man. I honestly wanted to build more muscle, and poison just defeats your muscles. So I'm like, man, I've gained 30 pounds since the beginning of the year in muscle. I ain't even that heavy, but I'm getting there, okay? I'm committing to the next level of me. And I'm ready to go through some hard ass times, because on the other side of that time, you're gonna find out that you got a new level of belief and a new level of skill set, but you will have to go through the grind. So let's get into the sales training. And these things are things that I used to stay ahead of the curve in 2008. And these things, if you can do them, I guarantee they're gonna separate you from everybody else. But if I don't try to install a savage mentality in you and a savage work ethic in you and get you to do more, there's no chance in you getting anything. So I want you to evaluate your work ethic right now. Before we go into the sales training, evaluate it. Is it a 10? Are people like, oh my God, that guy's the guy? That's who you got to be right now, man. That's who you got to be right now. And you're like, I got a family, you're gonna have to do it with them too. Well, I got this, you're gonna have to do it too. Ian, that's a lot, man. I know. But you want this big life, man. You want this big life. It's a lot. So as we get into sales training, I speak a lot about customer experience. And salespeople don't really get it because salespeople are amateurs, a lot of them. And I want you to think about what I'm about to say here, but and I want you to incorporate this into your life, because this is how I was able to beat hundreds of thousands of salespeople. This is how I was able to be 0.001% of car salesmen. There's probably 7 car salespeople on the planet that ever sold more cars than me, maybe. I haven't met a lot of them. I know 3 for sure, but I'm sure that there's some more out there. But I'm telling you, man, I've never really shook hands with somebody who's sold more cars than I have. Now, I've been able to take this strategy and show anybody in any industry how to be a dominator. Guys, if you're on this Zoom and you're like, man, this guy's a little much, this guy's a little crazy, dude, you haven't even met me yet. This is me at like a level 2, okay? I'm after like, and if I offend you, I will definitely offend you. My goal is to sometimes just try to totally torture you and piss you off so that you feel like you got to go do something. And if you hate me and talk shit about me on the internet, I'm actually happy as long as you did something. Like, I'll take that. That's good. So, but as I go into this, I'm going to get a little softer, because this is not like, this is hospitality. Now, I started with this savage mentality, and then that's not how I sell though. okay? I keep that dragon, that lion within inside of me, and it's how I operate. But then salespeople, this is the phrase I want you to write down. Salespeople, sales amateurs, whatever you want to call them, order takers, whoever, they're after commissions. They're after daily commissions. That's all they're after. A sales professional is after a friend, which equals a fortune. They're after a friend that equals a fortune. Guys, listen, I built a really good business where in 3-4 years, I'll be honest with you guys, I was a little lazy 4 or 5 years in because I never had to go out there and talk, chase after customers and all this shit. These customers just all called me and I was really known for it, but I grinded for that 4 or 5 years. And then the market just started being attracted to me. Amateurs chase business, pros attract business. Up front, you got to chase business, but if you do it the right way, you're just going to attract business. But in order to do this the right way and survive through these times, but also thrive, we got to start with step number 1, which was the mindset, the foundation. Number 2 is we got to make a shift to make hospitality your competitive advantage. Make hospitality your competitive advantage. Let me explain, guys. You know, when I was in the business, when I was in the car sales business, I always saw people who didn't care. Like, I just saw a lot of people who didn't care. My mom was in the military. She almost lost her legs. I watched her work. Like, she had all these health issues. She almost lost her legs, broke her back. My mom tried really hard. She gave everything that she had. She was a single mom. She just gave everything she got, man. She worked really hard. She gave us what we needed as kids, man. She was just amazing, right? Okay? Remember, I said amateurs, dude, they don't get what I'm talking about. They don't understand. They're like, nah, I just want to sell for the day. I just want to get my commission. I'm like, bro, I'll spend all my commission on this one person because they're going to go get me VIP clients. They're going to go get me 10 people, okay? So this one customer experience, you guys have to value like no other. And I don't care what you sell. What he was able to do was make his hospitality his total competitive advantage in this market. He was able to personalize that experience and find thoughtful ways to show just gestures of great customer service. So I want you to write your sales process down. And I want you to evaluate when somebody is with you, how do you make them feel? Okay? Anticipate. Number 3, anticipate, don't react. Okay, let me teach you a little bit about this. If you notice a customer is let's say in the car sales business, you know, it's late. It's getting late. They got too many cars to take home because they got one car out front. There's a family. You know, it's getting late. It's like 7 o'clock. They're getting ready to go through finance. You know how many guys just leave them sitting there? Everybody. I'd be like, guys, I'm going to get you dinner no matter what. I'm serving you guys dinner as we wait for this finance manager. And then, you know, the husband would say, oh, I'll come back and get the car tomorrow. I'm like, listen, I'll drive it to your house. They're like, my house is in Castle Rock. It's an hour away. I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter if I get back at midnight, man. I'm going to handle this for you. I'm going to personally drop this car off for you. I had a customer one time that said, Ian, can I leave the car out back of the dealership, you know, till Christmas? And it's like the 20th of December. And I was like, yeah, you can do that. Why do you want to do that? He goes, I want to drive down here on the 25th, bring the car up to my mom or my wife on the 25th, and I want to give her the car with a big bow on it. I said, hey, I'm going to do better than that, man. I'm going to bring the car to you. You don't have to drive down here. But he's like, it's in Winter Park. I'm in Denver. And he's like, you don't have to, Ian, you're going to miss time with your family. I said, man, you know what? I'll just bring my family up there with me. Dude, I was a 20-year-old kid. I just had a girlfriend. I was just like, hey, we're going up there. We'll do presents with the family the day before. Like, this stuff's important to me. I didn't even really have a whole lot of money. So I stayed in Winter Park with him. I brought the car up. I gave it to him. I showed him the car. I made it a special experience for his family. He put it all over Facebook. He sent my owner messages. They were always showing my shit in the meeting about how the customers would text the owner, what they texted him, because I stood out, man, because I actually really cared about customer experience. Amateurs don't really care about customer experience. I'll be honest with you. They don't. You got to find ways to stand out. Treat every customer as an individual, not a transaction. As an individual, think about you buying your own product. Would you walk your mom through your sales process? Would you walk your dad through your sales process? Would you do what you do? I mean, you got to think about that. These small personal touches show customers that you truly care. Guys, if you don't care and you're in sales and you're just trying to make commissions, you're probably broke. And you probably have to shift your heart. You have to have a clean heart, like a good heart, like a heart that wants to help them, a heart that really cares about customers. And guys, I watched all these guys come into the car business. They're like, fuck this customer, that guy, this guy, this guy. And I'm like, I can't believe you guys talk about people like that. Honestly, like, it's kind of disgusting, man. You know, and I had my moments. I wasn't perfect. I had mean customers. But for the most part, man, I wanted my customers to win. And I wanted to take really good care of them. Think about your personalized experience. You know, when the customers are with you. You know, we talked about number one, make your customer, your hospitality, your competitive advantage. When they come in, do they feel like you're different than anybody they've ever met? What's your frequency look like? Like, are you working on you? Do you love you? You gotta love you. We talk a lot about fitness because we want you to just love you a little bit more. We want you to see progress within yourself. And even no matter what, if you're not in good shape, and like, let's imagine that you work out for a week, that next week you're gonna feel way better about yourself. And it's amazing how your sales just rise because you like you better. It's crazy. People don't like us talking about health, guys. They're like, skip the health shit, get to the sales shit. I'm like, wow, man. So if you died and you got fat and then you were 500 pounds, 400 pounds, like some of the people I talk to, and then you have to go your whole life going back to, let's say you get all that money, but you sacrifice your health. What's the value in the money? You can't even spend it. You can't even do it. But if you took really good care of yourself as a salesperson, it makes number one easy. It makes number two easy. Personalize the experiences. Love these customers. Show them a different level. This is how you stay market proof. This is how you stay recession proof. If you can do these things during these challenging times, you're going to have a point in your career where you have like a quantum leap of people where they're all just reaching out to you. And it has to do with these individual experiences. Anticipate, don't react. You got to be proactive. If you see something that your customer's going through. I started to notice that we have a lot of customers going to the airport here, okay? Because like we're in Phoenix, they come down to a conference, right? And I know that they get on the airplane, right? Like they're rushing out of here to get to an airplane. So the other day I said, hey, I looked up and I said, all right, I'm gonna start getting these guys things for the airplane, like little pretzels, little chips, like little cool little things, like little protein cookies. Like I'm gonna give every single customer that we hear that's getting on a plane right there, we're gonna give them something really special to get on that plane with. Like a special pair of headphones that say Lion's Den on them. Like even if they're not gonna use our headphones, they see that we're trying. Right? Something different than anything. I was aware that I seen something in my process that would help, that gives me a chance to serve my customer at a higher level. Okay? It gives me a chance to make the experience that much better for them. Okay? When our customers come down and they're doing a podcast with Andy, we have these Elliott Army, they look like bullet cases. And they have Andy's favorite book in them. They have a t-shirt with their name on the back. And we customize it for them. So when they walk in, we give them something. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? So I want you to think about how you can do number 4, create meaningful moments. Go beyond to provide excellent customer service. Go beyond to make it memorable. You know how many people aren't memorable nowadays? You meet somebody and you're like, dude, I don't even remember that girl 2 years from now. I don't even remember that person a year from now. Guys, what are we after? Are we after just creating like a non-sustainable business and we're just salespeople? Or are we trying to be entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs that are creating a business for life? I'm not after just making money one time. I'm after making the sales forever. I'm after if I can pour something into this person and make them think differently about me, this memorable experience, they will be with me and they will never stop thinking about me. And that will be something that I'm gonna have customers for life. Guys, I would get messages from people and they'd be like, Ian, check how many cars, they'd be like on Thanksgiving, Ian, check how many cars are at my house right now that have your plate. 1, that's Uncle Johnny's car. I know you know him. 2, that's Bobby's car. That's our friend Steve. We referred him. Bro, you owe me a check. We got like 19 of your cars out here, dude. Okay, I don't care if you're in insurance, guys. I don't care if you're I don't care what you're in. It doesn't matter, man. Is everything relationships, guys? I would say my number 1 skill is building number 5, long-term relationships. I don't build transactions, man. Honestly, my customers, they would come back like maybe the day, like 3 days after, like if you're in the car business, you know, and they were like, hey, there's no all-weather mats in here. And, you know, we thought those were in there. And, you know, my dealer was never going to give them to him. You know what I would do? I go take my credit card out. And by the way, commissions in the car business at a Nissan store in 2008 and 9, on average, were about $220. The all-weather mats were $145. I wouldn't go ask my boss. I'd walk over there. I'd pay the $145 for the mats. And I'd go, hey, guys, here they are. And I'd give them to them. And whether they knew I bought them or not, I knew I was different. I knew I went the extra mile for these people. I knew I really truly cared. I knew that there was hundreds of deals that I delivered straight to their house that I didn't have to deliver to their house. I knew that there was hundreds and hundreds of customers in the market that I left a memorable experience with, okay? I invited you everywhere. I'm like, hey bro, you can come down to Lifetime and work out with me. You're gonna come sit in the hot tub with me. You're gonna go get in the cold plunge with me. Me and you are gonna work out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. You're gonna do extra with me. You gotta think about, like, do you still remember those times, Tyson? Do you still remember some of those memorable experiences you had? I know you do, right? You got to think of different things. Yesterday, I decided in our apparel company, I said, hey, we're going to write a handwritten note to every single transaction. Well, we had like 330 transactions yesterday, and Andy's going to write a handwritten note, and I signed him up for that. You know what I told him? Don't give a shit what you think, man. He's like, bro, that's a lot of work. I ain't got time to do that. That's a lot of shit that I got to do. I said, dude, you have more than enough time to write these notes. You do, dude. I'm gonna have a stage set up with all the cards right there, with a picture of the customer, a profile of them, and we're gonna take 2 hours and we're gonna write these cards. And as fast as you can write them, as fast as we'll be done. So we're gonna send out handwritten cards on every single customer. You know how hard that is? That's a little challenging, but is it worth it? What's the ROI on it? Dude, it's infinite. It's huge. It's more than you can imagine. So build long-term relationships. You know, follow up. You gotta follow up in ways that people are truly shocked. Okay, so I'm gonna go into some lead generation tactics. I'm gonna go into some objections and closing. You're gonna have to have a couple things to be market proof. You're gonna have to have customer service. You're gonna have to have a different experience than anybody's ever seen. If you really care about creating a brand. Number two, you're gonna have to have lead generation. And you're gonna have to have like little retention tools that keep people coming back. When I was in the car business, I saw that, man, it's like, I gotta see these people more often. I gotta hear from them more often, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple tips of mine. And by the way, maybe they work in your business, or maybe the job is to get you creative, and then you can think of some other things that can go in your business. But one of my best freaking retention tools was when they had kids, I would give them a piggy bank with my branded label on it, my name. And I'd walk over to the kid and I'd say, hey man, listen, I'm gonna put $5 in this piggy bank. When you get to $500, I'm gonna match you an additional $50, okay? So your parents and you are gonna come back and we're gonna take a picture and we're gonna talk about your saving for your next car. The customers would get their $500, they'd come back with their little piggy bank, we'd put it online, and I'd be like, hey man, we're helping this little kid save up and get his dream life, man. We're helping him save up and get his dream car. You know what I mean? And I would do things different and they would come back. Go to my Facebook right now, IANMACKLIN. You're gonna see 12 years ago, I remember these courtside season tickets for the Nuggets were like $43,000. I had $24,000 in my bank. I was doing pretty good, better than I'd ever done. And I got the idea from a Patrick Bet-David video that I was gonna buy courtside seats and give them to the people that were referring me the most customers. And in my brain, I just was intent on sticking out. Okay, go to my Facebook right now and go look at it. I'm not a theory teacher. I'm a guy that is the true applicant that's seen this every day, that did it. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be somebody, so I actually acted on my own heart. I didn't have a whole lot of teaching. I had some managers that were average, and I thought bigger than all of them. You're gonna have to think bigger. You're gonna have to think more creative. You're gonna have to think off the cuff. You're gonna have to think a little wild, okay? Well, I literally created a contest. I said, whoever refers me the most car deals, I'm gonna keep a board in my office. I'm gonna give you 5 courtside tickets. Guys, I had a guy refer like 12 cars in 1 month. Do you think that paid off? Every time they went to the game, I said, the one thing that you have to do is you have to tag me and you have to, give me a little shout out. I had customers tagging me all the time because they were so thankful to get these courtside tickets. They didn't know I was broke, that I was just risking it all on one of these little retention strategies. This wasn't even a lead generation strategy. I wanted the market to see me as not a car salesman. I wanted them to see me not as a car salesman. I wanted them to see me as the car salesman. I wanted to be the guy. But in order to be the guy, I gotta be different. I gotta speak different. I gotta talk different. I gotta walk different. I gotta handle objections different. I gotta have a different mentality than people. I can't be the same as all you people. I gotta be different than you in order to have different than you. So I wanted my brand to be elevated. This is real shit. I can't teach you what other people are doing, and maybe you don't even like this shit. You're like, I'm not coming to a Zoom again. Don't care, man. I'm looking for the one person that I can get to think bigger, act different, go to the next level, and be a legend. That's all I'm after. I was on a Zoom with guys like this that had, this kid was like, man, I got 2,200 people in my town. He sold 64 cars last month. Some of you I've seen for years. You're not gonna do that. Why? Because you haven't decided. You haven't decided to live the content. You've decided to get motivated, but never do anything. So I'm gonna start pressing your asses, especially in our community. I'm gonna full court press people to actually live what they're saying. Because if you do, you're gonna wake up 2 years from now and you're gonna be like, oh my God. And people are gonna be like, how'd you do it? And you're gonna be like, I just thought different. I just acted different. I just took different action and somehow I got all this shit. I don't even know where it came from. I just was different. I was giving a different experience. I was treating people different. I was treating myself different. So lead generation. Okay, I'm gonna go into one lead generation tactic: onboarding, offboarding, ads, and referrals. And I'm gonna try to get this done as fast as I can because we started late. Onboarding. When a customer comes into your dealership or wherever you're at, what is the onboarding experience like? When I got somebody over the phone, I'm like, Johnny, thank you so much for giving me a call. You and your wife are coming in. Her name is Sarah. I got that written down. You're coming in with your kids, right? What are their names? Johnny? Billy? How old are they? Boom, boom, boom. Cool, man. There's a Starbucks across the street. I'm going to get you guys something no matter, even if you say no, I'm going to get you an empty cup. Doesn't matter. I got to get you something. What do you want? He'd be like, I don't really want anything. No, we're going to get you something. You know, it's around 2 o'clock. People get tired right there. Let's get your wife caramel macchiato. I'd force them to give me an order. I'd walk over there, invest my own money in the customers, and I'd walk out and I'd give them the coffee. And they'd be like, oh my God, man, thank you. It wasn't like, are you Ian? I would send them a video. Hey guys, got your coffee, getting it to the perfect temperature. I'll see you in 10 minutes. My onboarding experience was different than everybody else's. It was different. When they walked up, I'm like, oh, this is Billy. Oh my God, Billy, what's up, man? How you doing, man? If you ever meet kids and you move your hand like this, they try to smack it and they're like, dang it. And then they just get all fired up and the parents see their kids all happy. Like, you'll always see me do that no matter what. I bring them inside. I'm like, hey, I got these Hot Wheels right here. You're going to choose which Hot Wheel you want to play with today. I got you one. No matter what, you get it. I get the kid a Hot Wheel. The dad wants to talk about the car. I'm like, bro, here, stop talking. I'm gonna help this kid real quick. I give him the car. The dad's like, what the hell's going on here? I'm like, here's a coloring book for you. I get them all set up. I'm like, now me and you can talk. What's up, man? My onboarding experience was different. I onboarded the family different. What's your onboarding experience look like? You know, when I'm onboarding a company, if it's the meeting's at 8 o'clock, I call ahead and I send them breakfast. If I'm onboarding at somebody at noon, I send them sushi. Uber Eats. I spend thousands of dollars in Uber Eats. Okay, but you're like, I got no money. Dude, do things that are free. Get creative. Stop talking about the shit you don't have. Start talking about fucking doing some shit. Tell your little bitch voice to shut up. Some of you guys, you have such simple thoughts. You're like, well, I don't have the money to do what he's saying. He has money. Dude, the only reason I have any money is because I did all the shit when I didn't have money. Change. Change. If you want to thrive and not survive, you have to change. Onboarding. Offboarding. How do you offboard a customer if they don't buy? Some of you, when you offboard a customer, here's what you do. You call back twice and you go 2 touches, maybe 3, and that's it. When I'm offboarding them, I'm gonna send them something. Listen, I'm gonna be aware. Remember, if we scroll back up and we go back to, you know, being aware and making the experience personal. If they said something, if they said anything along in the conversation like, oh, we got to go watch the Bronco game, you know, I'm like, oh, cool. Noted, got you. When I follow up, I might send them something from the Broncos. I might go on Amazon or eBay and create something really creative for them and engage them in a way that nobody else is engaging them. Do I want to just call them? Yeah, I'll call them, but how do you think differently? I want your lens to be like, how do I think differently, do differently, act differently, persuade differently, follow up differently? I'm not being like everybody else, bro. Not doing it. Not doing it. Offboarding them. You know, you could do that every time. Guys, would this change your career? Yes or no, if you were doing all of this stuff? I wrote 1,000 handwritten notes my whole life, and I've told many of you that, but you're never writing them. And I don't know why, but you're like, Ian, the training doesn't work. Bro, you don't fucking work, man. Come on, man. Listen, when my customers were leaving and they weren't buying from me, I walked into the back, I got a handwritten note and I wrote, thank you so much. The way that you played with your kids, I never had a dad like you. I'm just telling you that motivated the crap out of me today. Thank you so much. No matter what you do, I'm just grateful that I got to know you. And I'd write them a special handwritten note from my heart and I would send it to them. I still send handwritten notes every day, all day. Okay? So could you do that? If you're on a Zoom with somebody and you get to know them and you could say, hey, what's your address? I'm going to send you something. Could you send a handwritten note? It costs you $4, man. 3 of you guys will do it. And it'll be the 3 people that were like, oh my God, they did all these little things. You know what winning is? It's not a bunch of big moments. It's a bunch of small moments that add up to be big moments. On the next week, I'm going to do another Zoom this next week, and it's going to be on referrals. It's going to be on some other things, and I'm going to break down objections and closing. So I'm going to literally go through all objections and closing. Today, what I wanted to really talk to you about is this. Your customer service is gonna make you bulletproof. Your customer service is gonna make you survival proof. The people that know how to build relationships like this, they never have to go looking for business because it just comes to them. So my job today, in my mind, was to inspire you to do better on your customer service, to inspire you to think a little bit differently, to go a little bit harder. And here's what I wanna urge you to do. I wanna urge you to have the best customer service in the world. I wanna urge you to be one of the hardest workers in the room. I said one of, because sometimes I just doubt that some of you guys will do it. So I'm like, oh man, they're gonna think that's just, I just really want you guys to be the hardest workers in the room. Because here's the deal. If you can pick up what I'm putting down 2 years from now, you're gonna be proud of yourself. And it might be a really hard 2 years, but it's gonna be really worth it. But you're gonna have to do more than you've ever done before. You're gonna have to give more than you've ever given. You're gonna have to believe more than you've ever believed. You're gonna have to understand that, like, no matter what, even if it's challenging, like, it's gonna be worth it. And if you can do these things, you can elevate your customer service and you can get these habits while times are a little challenging. When it opens up, here's what happens. 2011 came around and I'd done all these things. And I was out at malls, I was out at gas stations, I was shaking hands, I was learning how to persuade, which we're gonna talk about on the next Zoom. Next Zoom's also gonna have persuading, influencing, and so I'm gonna go over that a lot more. But I had to be out at gas stations doing all these different things, meeting all these different people. And what I learned was winning wasn't something I aspired to do, it just became who I was. It became just like easy for me. Like, it wasn't hard. You guys ever seen somebody do something really easy, like play basketball, and they're just turning around, shooting threes, doing layups and all kinds of shit? Like that, it kind of became like that for me. People would be like, hey, come talk to my customer. I'll walk up over there, talk to him for 3 seconds, wrap him up. They'd be like, what the heck happened? What'd you say to him? And I'm like, honestly, I don't even remember. You know, because it just becomes kind of who you are. It doesn't matter right now if you've learned the wrong way. It doesn't matter right now if you're not a whole lot proud of your life. Here's the goal. Can you change? Can you grow? All right, guys, you're the true 1%ers. You made it to the end of the video. Let's go. Like, comment, so we know who you are down below, and then share this video to somebody else who needs it. And also turn your notifications on, because we got the fire coming every single day. Amazing. We'll see you at the next video. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.